What's up, guys? You're probably watching this video because you are getting close to some exams. Could be GCSE, could be A-level, could be university. You've probably clicked on this video because you're looking for some sort of help, maybe some ideas on how you can best prepare for what are going to be a very important set of exams, and it's going to be a really important time of your life, no matter at what stage of your life you're in. And people ask me a lot of the time, sort of, how can I best prepare myself in this 100-day window? Right now, we're about 100 days from May, mid-May to the end of May, which is GCSE time, getting ready for A-levels and perhaps university exams as well. So a lot of people ask me, how can I use this window of time? And I think the first thing to kind of realize is a sense of urgency, which is that with 100 days to go, every day is 1% of your total time gone. So if you take a week off for half term, let's say, or if you take, a considerable amount of downtime in your sort of revision scheduling, let's say you have a 7-day half term and you just really take it easy, that's 7% of your time gone. And in fact, every day is 1% gone, and it will slowly tick down, and time can get away from you incredibly quickly. So the first thing really is to acknowledge that. And sometimes it helps to think of it in terms of like 100% from 100 days ticking down slowly. So one thing that I say to students a lot of the time, and you may have heard me say this if you're one of my students, is that every passing minute is an opportunity for you to get better at something, but only if you use that minute effectively. Only if you're able to push yourself and say, do you know what? I've got to put this phone down right now because I know that every minute of every TikTok video or whatever I look at, that is a minute gone that I can be investing in what could potentially be my future. So acknowledge that you have a very small amount of time right now, and the way you use it could be the difference between, grades. So just acknowledge that, let's kind of really acknowledge this sense of urgency. And I've come up with these 3 P's. Number 1, prioritize. So this is to work back from your weakest subjects or topics. Number 2, plan. So schedule what you can realistically achieve. Planning is super important. I'm going to go into each one in a little bit more detail. And lastly, proceed, and proceed with consistency. Sometimes procrastination can push things back way beyond the limit, of sort of getting started. And I think that we are in an age now where procrastination has never been easier. There's always another video to watch. There's always another feed to scroll through. There's always another person to like check up on or whatever, and look at their profile or whatever. And time can just get away from us so quickly. So sometimes just starting is the first step to kind of getting everything under control. So let's go through kind of what I mean by each one. So starting off with prioritize. What I mean by this is split all of your subjects, or if you're just studying a couple of subjects or just one subject, if it's a degree, split it into topics. And what you want to do is you want to rate your confidence on each of those topics out of 5. Now, here's the thing. When I do this exercise with students, a lot of the time people pick 3. The number 3, slap bang in the middle between 0 to 5. And you want to try and avoid that because it doesn't give you much data. If you just do 3 for all of your topics, that doesn't tell you anything. And what we're trying to uncover here is, okay, what am I feeling less confident on? If I look at all of my topics right down in a column there, and I've got all of these numbers, what we're looking for is a low score between 0 to 3. Those are the topics or subjects that you want to try and prioritize. I've done a video, a full video on this concept with an example on the screen, and I will link it up at the top somewhere. Once you've done all of that, once you've gone through all of your topics and you've scored yourself between 0 to 5, you can then look at that and say, right, well, I need to start from my weakest topics. And by weakest, what I mean is you feel least confident in them. So we're looking at the scores that are a 0. Hopefully you haven't got any zeros, but maybe you've got 1s, maybe you've got 2s. That's where to start, because that's what prioritizing is all about. You want to make your weaknesses less weak, not saying necessarily you're going to make your weaknesses suddenly into your strengths, because sometimes we're studying topics that we're just not naturally very good at, whereas some topics we are naturally good at and we find them much easier. So it's not about turning your weaknesses into absolute strengths, but what it is, it's about building your confidence so that when you see those topics come up in the exam, you don't go off into your shell or crumble, you know? So that's what we're trying to aim to do here. It just gives you a starting point. So from there, you can start working out what you need to work on first to make yourself more confident in those lowest scoring topics. So that's kind of, I think, always stage one. It's almost like an audit. You're auditing, where am I currently at with all of my topics within my subject or subjects. And you've got to be honest with yourself. You know, there's no point like lying to yourself, looking at a topic that you know you're not very good at, and then trying to like avoid revising it and putting it like a 4. You know, you've got to be honest with yourself, and they're just words on the page when you write down the topics. That's all they are. You know, they're not going to hurt you. They're not going to harm you. So you've got to be honest with yourself, and just treat each topic individually and just think, you know, where am I at with it? And the good thing is as well, you can revisit this. So if we're 100 days from the exams, you can check back in at day 50. So halfway through your revision process, your preparation time, you can maybe check in on your revision scores, maybe do them again and say, right, 100 days ago, this was a 1. I now feel it's a 3 or a 4. That's what we're looking for, you know, so you can keep revisiting this and you can do it more often if you want, like every 10 days or whatever. It's completely up to you. So after prioritizing, once we've got all of that data, we need to then plan. We need to plan effectively. So number one is to create a schedule, okay? And sometimes I get really sad when I speak to students and I say, what does your revision schedule look like? And they'll say, okay, well, it's a 10-hour day and, you know, I'm going to get up at 6 and then I'm going to revise from 7 till whatever. And then I'm going to finish around 9 p.m. And I'm just like, I don't think you're going to do that. I think you're setting yourself like a task that is just unrealistic. Now, everyone is different. You will know you better than anyone else. If you are someone that can revise for, you know, that period of time, great, that's cool. What I'm saying is be realistic and be honest with yourself about what you can realistically achieve. I mean, for me personally, I would probably say I struggle going beyond 7 hours. You know, I try to very rarely schedule in myself an 8th hour because I've only ever done it a couple of times. And when I have done it, it's absolutely killed me. So I would just be aware of kind of over promising what you're going to be able to do. And be aware as well, if you've got holidays or a half term, or if you're going on exam leave, a lot of people think, well, when I go on exam leave, I don't really know how long I'll end up spending. And I always say, as a starting point, take your normal school day, or, you know, take as many hours as you would normally say be at school, however many lessons that might be. Let's say it's 6 hours or something. Start with that and see how you get on, because you're able to do it at school. So doing it in your home environment kind of should be easier, you know, managing that time yourself, you know, listening to music or whatever you want to do. That 6 hours will probably be a bit easier maybe than the 6 hours you would spend at school. So start with that. I normally say 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon, get it done and get out there. So another thing you want to do when you're planning as well is to work out actually how long it's going to take you for each of these topics. So once you've got your topic kind of scorecard, you can then think to yourself, okay, I'm not very confident with this topic. It's scored a 1. And I know it's going to take me quite a long time to go through it. Maybe it's a particularly dense topic. Maybe it's one that you haven't got that many notes on. So you know you're going to have to go away and source some notes as well and do some research. Well, that's going to take you longer. So you then also want to think, right, okay, I'm going to have to commit an extra 2 hours on this topic. And then if you do this at the beginning of the process, at the beginning of your, say, 100-day process, your window, if you do it at the beginning, then you're factoring in where you're going to have to spend more time. And it means that you're not suddenly going to get to a topic, you've given yourself 2 hours and you're suddenly like, oh God, it's going to take me at least 4 hours. And then of course that screws up the entire rest of the schedule. So plan ahead and really think, okay, how dense is this topic? Do I need to schedule myself a little bit more time? And that should be your planning done at that point. And then finally, proceed. So on top of that idea of not setting yourself tasks like a revision timetable that you're never going to be able to do, you're looking for consistency. So if you really try and push yourself, and burn out in week 1, and you've got 3 weeks perhaps of like solid preparation, your second week is just going to be you like catching up on sleep or whatever. You're going to be constantly playing catch up. So you really want to try and stay consistent. If you are someone who gets distracted easily, okay, which, come on, we kind of all are, right? If you are that person and you know that having a phone in the room distracts you, get rid of your phone. Just get rid of your phone. Not like get rid of it, but you know what I mean, right? Put it outside of the room. Give it to someone you trust and just say, look, please don't give this to me until the end of the day, or please don't give this to me until lunchtime when I've done my morning revision, because you don't want to get into a situation where you're starting a block of revision, a couple of hours or whatever, and you just pick up your phone because you see a notification and all of a sudden that's 10-15 minutes gone. Remember what I said at the beginning, about how every minute is an opportunity to improve. Notifications have a funny way of making us look at them, and then suddenly you see another few notifications and then it's game over. You've also broken your flow state, you've broken your focus. So if it helps you to get rid of the phone, definitely do it. Now, this next one here about rewarding yourself, I think is a really, really useful step to build into your revision, particularly if you're someone who's revising a subject or a topic that you don't like and you naturally want to avoid. Build in some sort of reward scheme for yourself. So that could look like this, for example. If you're someone who could spend hours and hours like playing on a computer game, video game or whatever, playing on a console, hand over your controller or put your controller away and say to yourself and promise yourself, I can have this controller back this afternoon if I score 70% or higher. I'm just plucking a number out of the air, but if I score 70% or higher in this past paper test or in this quiz that I've done myself. Because what you're now doing is you're putting something at stake. And it doesn't have to be a video game. It could be, a takeaway. It could be some chocolate, your favorite sweet treats or whatever. But put something on the line, because we respond really well when the stakes are raised. It makes us switch on more. It makes us focus. So it can actually kind of inspire a bit more, squeeze a little bit more performance out of yourself. And that can be really, really helpful. So set yourself interesting challenges and give yourself a reward after you've completed it, because it's going to make you feel really, really good. And you're going to probably retain that information better as well, because you've been under a little bit of stress. Revision often isn't stressful. When we're just revising flashcards, it's not that stressful. And that's the problem in a way. We kind of want to put ourselves under a bit of pressure. You're about to do exams. Exams is full on pressure. So you want to try and just start adding in that little bit of pressure, and getting a reward at the end of it can feel really, really good. So yeah, we respond to high stakes situations and we're going to recall that information better. So that's a really useful tip, just to try. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you, but give it a go. And lastly, this is the thing to keep in your head when, you know, you're 2-3 weeks in, you're at the end of a really hectic week where you maybe have had really intense preparations for your first exam or whatever. Just keep remembering, whenever you are really kind of struggling emotionally or mentally, and you just kind of almost can't see the way out, just remember, in 4 months' time, 5 months, it's going to be over. You're not going to have to worry about your revision, your preparation anymore. You're not going to have to worry about the next exam. It's all going to be over. It's over very quickly. So you want to go away on your break. We generally always have a break, summer holiday or whatever, after that period of exams. You want to be relaxing on that summer holiday, knowing that you did your best, knowing that you did a good job. What you don't want is to be on that summer holiday in that period terrified, feeling guilty, feeling worried, knowing that you could have done more. You want to go onto that break and really enjoying it. And that is your overall reward. The overall reward is that feeling of success, that you did a good job in that revision window, you know? And then, of course, you open up the results. And if you've done that work, you'll be happy with what you get. That's the ultimate reward. So remember then, 3 P's: prioritize, plan, and proceed. And just remember that every minute is an opportunity to get better at something. Put the phone down, stop procrastinating. So yeah, I hope you found this helpful. If you did, put a like on the video or whatever. Leave a comment if you want me to go into any more detail on any of those points. But I think hopefully that's pretty clear. If you are my student, I will see you in the next lesson. Let me know what you thought of this. And yeah, thanks very much. See you in the next one.